So, guys, I wanted to talk briefly about preparing for Black Friday. Black Friday is when is Black Friday? Black Friday is November 29th. So, we have about 16 days, a little bit over 2 weeks until Black Friday is here. Therefore, if you have not started yet, you need to start planning your Black Friday activities, your Black Friday promotions, buying your Black Friday merchandise, all of that. 24 people viewing. Oh, thank you. I don't know why Instagram's hating on me right now. They don't want me to know how many people are tuned in, but it's cool. So Black Friday is super important, especially in the land of retail. This is the time of the year where basically everybody who sells a product is going to up their marketing efforts. Everybody is going to be running sales, promotions. People are going to be offering probably the best discounts that they have offered all year or that they will offer for the rest of this year. So this is also a great time to not only run great promotions and hopefully increase your revenue, but also to increase your brand exposure and your brand awareness, and just generally gain a new audience of people who could potentially be customers down the line and for years and years to come. So I wanted to take some time to briefly talk about preparing for Black Friday and giving you guys, how many tips do I got here? 12 tips for preparing for Black Friday. And I made some little slides. I don't know if you guys saw the last time where I went live and I had these slides. So I made some slides again, and I'm about to put them on now. Oh, I gotta move forward though so I can see the darn slides. Okay, there we go. So, preparing for Black Friday. Oh, snaps. Why did it turn around? Okay, there I am. Preparing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So I forgot to mention Cyber Monday. So Cyber Monday, in my opinion, is even more important than Black Friday, especially if you are an online retailer, because Cyber Monday is literally for online businesses. It was created specifically to serve online businesses. So this is a day where the majority of people across the world, oh, and now I can see how many people are tuned in. So this is a day where the majority of the people across the world are going to be online, on their computers, on their phones, all day, shopping and trying to get the best deals. So Black Friday, Cyber Monday, these are 2 days that you definitely want to make sure that you are participating in and make sure that you are giving your best effort. So the first thing that I want to discuss in regards to preparing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday is having a firm count of your inventory. So take a moment to imagine not knowing for sure that the numbers that you have for your inventory on your website are correct, and then the off chances that you have a influx or a surplus of people on your website on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, and people are ordering up all your merchandise. You're selling out of things left and right, but then come to find out when you go package this merchandise, you don't have the numbers that you claim that you had on your website. That is going to be a huge headache for you. And I know that it would be, because in just, the slower parts of the year, I have had instances where my numbers were incorrect on my website, and I have went to go package the orders and the numbers were not correct. There have been times where people have bought merchandise and the merchandise did not exist in my inventory. So I had to reach out to the person, let them know that, I had miscounted the inventory or that the item was currently actually out of stock, and ask them, if they wanted another item, if they would like me to issue them a refund, if they would like a store credit, all that. It's just an extra step and some extra effort that you would have to put into your business that you could eliminate if you were aware of what your inventory numbers are. So I want to encourage you guys to take some time in the next couple weeks leading up to Black Friday to count your inventory, and the closer that you count it to Black Friday, the better. But I definitely recommend that you count your inventory just in general over time. But take some time to count your inventory, make sure that your numbers are correctly, so that when it does come down to people ordering merchandise on your website, you don't run into the issues of people ordering merchandise that does not exist, or ordering a size that doesn't exist and things of that nature. You want to make sure that you got a firm hold on your inventory count. And also, this also goes for as you're ordering merchandise for Black Friday. If you plan on having a Black Friday collection, you definitely want to have a idea of what numbers or how much inventory you currently have in stock. And as far as how many dresses, how many bottoms, how many tops, how many this, how many that, you want to know those things so that as you do make the decision to start buying some merchandise for your Black Friday collection, you can make sure that you're buying the right things. This might be also a great opportunity just to go back and look at your overall reports to see what people are buying, what people are gravitating towards. Even if you notice that people aren't necessarily buying, but there are pages on your website that are being viewed more than the others, this is a good time to pay attention to those things. And say you notice that more people are clicking on your dresses, that might be an indication that you should invest more money into dresses rather than a category on your website that people aren't buying in. So firm hold on your inventory. Make sure you know those numbers. All right, number 2, your marketing efforts need to be times 10, times 100. I don't know what number to use here, but it needs to be out of this world. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, this is a time of the year where everybody is putting a lot more effort into marketing as well as a lot more money into their marketing. So if you're not paying for paid advertising, your organic free advertising needs to be on point. It needs to look good, and you're going to have to produce more content more frequently in order to hopefully stay in front of your audience or your target audience, because there will be so many other businesses, both large and small, who are putting a large sum of their money into paid advertising. So whether you are going the free route or the paid route, this is the time of the year where you need to up your marketing efforts. So that might mean spending more money, spending more time, creating better advertisements or better graphics in general. This is the time to definitely get very down to the, what word can I use? This is the time to take your marketing efforts seriously, because this is when it's really going to count. As you guys know, I worked in retail for 12 years before I owned my own business, and so I know firsthand that large retailers put a ton of their money into their marketing during the holiday season, and this is usually the time of the year where they go from being in the negative to being in the positive. Most retailers are in the negative all year long, and they literally go into the positive, or they go from being in the red to being in the green, or the black, they call it, being in the black during the holiday season, because they put so much of their money into marketing. So this is the time to dedicate more of your money or time into improving your marketing efforts. You don't want to get lost in the realm or the sea of all the other companies that are marketing at this time, and you also want to make sure that you are standing out in the sea of all the other companies that are marketing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So this is the time to get a strong hold on your marketing, guys. Next is promotional strategy. So this is not the time of the year to run the exact same sales you've been running all year. This isn't the time to run that same 40% off sale you ran last week, or that 50% off sale you ran on Sunday, and now you're going to run it again on Black Friday. No. People shop on Black Friday to get Black Friday and Cyber Monday to get deals that they wouldn't necessarily get throughout the rest of the year. So this is the time to get creative in your promotional strategies. And that's not to say that you have to make your items like dang near free or anything like that, but it's also you should also take that as an indication that this is a good time to get a strong hold on your numbers as far as your profit margins and things like that, and figuring out just how low you can go in your pricing. And we'll talk about pricing a little bit further down the line, but this is a time to be creative in your promotional strategy and decide on promotions that are going to catch people's attention, and that they're not going to just swipe past or scroll past as they are looking at the sea of all the other boutiques that they probably follow who are also running a Black Friday sale. You want to run something that is going to catch their eye. And I can't tell you what that promotion is because everybody's numbers are different. Everybody's inventory is priced differently. Everybody's profit margins are different. So really, you have to look at your own numbers. You have to have a very strong understanding of what your own profit margins are and come up with a promotional strategy that you feel is going to work best for you, that's going to resonate with your target audience, but most importantly, is going to lead you to still making a profit. You definitely don't want to run promotions for Black Friday or Cyber Monday that are going to hurt your bottom line. You still want to be able to make money on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. This is not the time to be losing money. As I just said, this is the time of the year where most retailers go from being in the negative to being in the positive, but the only reason that they're able to do that is because they have a strong hold on their inventory, they have a strong hold on their numbers, they have a great promotional strategy, and they're consistent in their efforts in marketing that. So all the last three things, take all of that into consideration as you're preparing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Okay, so number 4. Oh, the next one, strategic pricing. So again, this goes into knowing your profit margins. You can't strategically price your merchandise for Black Friday and Cyber Monday if you don't know what your profit margins in the first place. So I've seen a few people ask their audiences, what type of promotions they would like to see for Black Friday, which is great. I think it's super smart to survey your audience just to see where their brain is and what would resonate with them, because the best thing that you could ever do for your audience is to provide them with what they would like to see. However, you can't provide them with what they would like to see if it doesn't align with your profit margins, with your own strategy. So it's important to know what your numbers are, and then you can utilize whatever advice that your customers have given you in regards to what promotion you should run. So you want to price your merchandise strategically. If you guys need help with pricing strategically, I have a YouTube video. It's literally called like strategic pricing for your boutique. I would recommend you go check that out. But also understand that this might be a hard time for you to strategically price your merchandise, because maybe you priced your merchandise too low in the first place, and now it's now you're going to want to run a promotion that's going to catch people's eye, but because you priced your merchandise so low, or maybe you've been running promotions on it, or maybe you marked it down so low already, it doesn't really leave you much room for strategically pricing it or marking it down even more. So that takes a whole different type of strategy. And to be completely honest with you, that might result in you possibly losing money, but that has to be a conscious decision that you come up with yourself and that you're okay with. And I'll be completely honest, I have taken losses in my business in order to have a future gain. And what I mean by that is that I had some merchandise, for example, I had merchandise for so long, and maybe I had 1 or 2 pieces of it left, and I knew that the only way I could get rid of it was by marking it down even lower than the price that I paid for it. So I've taken losses. I've marked my merchandise down further than the price that I've paid for it, but also I've taken into consideration how long I had that merchandise in stock, and I have a plan for what I would like to do with the money that I'm going to make from that. So again, strategic pricing is key to your Cyber Monday and Black Friday success. Okay, so I keep swiping the wrong way. The next thing, an organized website. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that there is it's basically, think of it as a customer journey. So every customer has a journey that they take to making a purchase, if that is where they end. So let's start with social media. So a lot of people may find you on social media. Maybe they saw a post that you put up, they found you through a hashtag that they searched or something along those lines. So maybe they make it over to your profile. Now that they're on your profile, they're scrolling away, they're reading captions, they're checking out your bio, all that. So I want you guys to understand that every single touch point that you interact with your customer at needs to be spectacular if you want them to make it to the next point. So if they make it to your social media page and it's just kind of crazy looking, nothing's making sense, the quality of your photos isn't great, your captions are written terribly, your bio doesn't tell them anything about you, anything that makes you special, they are not likely to click the link in your bio. You haven't given them a reason to do so. Now let's say that your Instagram is great, they think your photos are amazing, all that, and they're like, okay, let me see what else this person has to offer. So now they make it to your website, and lo and behold, your website is a hot mess in comparison to your website. So you've lost them again. So understand that regardless of if they make it to the next step, once they do make it to the next step, that next step needs to be even better than the previous step. So if one is great, the next one needs to be great, and the next experience needs to be great. So you want to make sure that your website is appealing, that it's organized in a way that a person would want to spend some time on it. I've heard lots of people say, I look at my website stats and I have really high numbers on my home page, but no traffic on any of the other pages, or very little traffic on the other pages. That means that there's something about your home page that's making people stop. They don't have a reason to keep going. You haven't appealed to them enough that they would want to click somewhere else or add something to their cart or anything like that. So it's really important that your website looks and feels good and comfortable, and that it's organized in a way that would drive people to want to keep clicking around and hopefully add something to their cart. So understand that once they make it to your website, this is the time to definitely make everything matter. This is the time that you want to basically do the convincing that they should stay around a little bit longer and add some things to their cart and then make a purchase. So let's move on to the next topic, which is amazing product descriptions. So let's say that you get them to make it past your homepage. Your homepage was appealing, it was nice, it was, it resonated with them. Now they're clicking around and they see some products that they like. So they're looking at the pictures. So again, this is the customer journey. They're looking at the pictures. Your pictures need to be appealing enough. So number 7, we're gonna put 6 and 7 together. So number 7 is great product photography. So before they can read the description, they're gonna see the products, the product photography. So you wanna make sure that your product photography is amazing. I'm sorry to break it to you, but if your product photography is terrible, it won't matter how nice the item in the picture looks. They're looking at the entire picture itself, not just the item that you are looking at. Everything that they are looking at on your website, on your page, they are using that to determine the quality and the reliability and the credibility of your business. So your product photography, the quality of it needs to be spectacular. And if you don't know if your product photography is spectacular, ask somebody for their opinion. One of the ladies, I'm not sure if she's on here right now, but I've been talking to one of my followers for months, and one of the first conversations that we had was about her website. And I asked her, if you were a customer and you logged on to your website and you saw your website as a whole and your product pictures, would you want to shop there? And her answer was no. So ask yourself that same question. If you logged on to your own website as a complete stranger, would you want to spend your money there? Would you think that what's being offered there is of good quality? Would you think that the person that owns that business is going to be a reliable person that you can give your money to? Ask yourself these questions. So she said no. She was very honest with herself, and she said no, I wouldn't shop there. But you know what she did? Literally, she took the time to take her website down and work on it. So me and her actually just had a coaching session for the first time last week, and I checked out her website for the first time since that conversation, and it was beautiful. I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. So and she is now at a point where she, as a customer, would be comfortable with spending her money with herself. So don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to take your photos over to edit them differently, whatever you need to do to make these pictures look great, do it. And then your product description. So once they see the photo, if the photo is amazing, now they move on to the product description. So your product description almost has to do the talking for your picture. So sometimes the picture isn't enough for them to make the decision that they want to buy it. So now you need your product description to do the talking and the convincing for you. So your product description needs to be written in a way that convinces them that this is what they need. This is not the time to tell them the fabricate. Well, obviously you want to tell them you don't want to tell them the obvious, but you want to tell them the things that they need to know. So obviously, you know, the fabrication and things of that nature. Does it stretch? Blah, blah, blah. But this is the opportunity to tell them something that they can't see, something that doesn't meet the eye immediately. So does this item stretch? Where can they wear it to? How can they style it? What can they wear it with that they already own? Think about questions that your customer might likely be asking themselves that might be deterring them from making the purchase. You want to put yourself in the customer's shoes and ask yourself, what questions might you have if you were thinking about buying the item? And flipping back to the product photos, I've always said, you know, you want to make sure that you give them a variation of photos. So showing them different angles, showing them, you know, a close-up or a feature that they possibly couldn't see if you only took a front view of the picture. So for instance, let's say that your product photography, you only have one picture, it's a great picture, but you're only showing them the front. They might be wondering, you know, how does she get into that dress? Does it have a zipper down the back? Does it have a zipper down the side? Things of that nature. I always use the example of me being really short. I'm 5 feet tall, but I love jumpsuits and things of that nature. And a lot of jumpsuits are just entirely too long on me. I love maxi dresses even though I'm tiny, and a lot of maxi dresses are really long on me. So one of the things that I'm always checking for is the length of an item because I'm short. I need to know. I don't shop in the petite section because I have a long leg for a short person. I know that's weird, but those are things that I'm looking for. I need you to tell me what the length of this pant or this dress is. So think about potential things that might be causing your customer to not take that next step to add the item to their cart. So moving on to carts. I am doing good with this leading right into the next topic. So aggressive abandoned cart emails. So if your marketing efforts are on point for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and let's say they've made this decision that your pictures were great enough, your product descriptions were great enough, they are going to add the item to their cart. Now, if anybody shops like me, I at times add way too many things to my cart, and then I get stuck and I'm like, okay, I need to make a decision what I'm going to take out. And by the end of it, I'm like, I'm just not going to get any of it. That's what I'm going to do. And so I feel like there probably are lots of people on this earth who think that way as well. So this is the time of the year where people are probably going to do the same thing. They're probably, you know, comparing prices from other boutiques or other retailers, or maybe they're thinking about getting another item instead of the item they added to their cart on your website, things of that nature. So this is the time that you want to make sure that you have abandoned cart email set up. Depending on what platform your website is built on, that may be a feature that's built into it. I have Shopify, and that is a feature that is sorry, my husband texted me. That is a feature that Shopify offers, and they do offer you the opportunity to decide how quickly you would like that email to be sent to them after they've added to the cart. So I think it's like 1 hour, 6 hours, 10 hours, and then 15 hours or something like that. So you have to decide, you know, how quickly you want that to happen. I would say the quicker the better around this time of year, just because I would expect more people to be on your site at this time of the year. So you definitely want them to get the item sooner than later, and don't miss out on the opportunity. So abandoned cart emails are a great way to get people to come back to your site. And the easiest way to do that is to either offer them an additional discount that they can use on a purchase, or offer them something that would cause them to make the decision to purchase. So it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so a lot of retailers offer things outside of discounts. So some people offer like a gift certificate that they can use at a later date, or a free gift with purchase and things like that. So like if you're one of those boutiques who has lots of jewelry and maybe you paid, you know, a very little price for that jewelry, this is a great opportunity to offer a free piece of jewelry along with the purchase or things like that. So you want to think about creative ways that you could get people to come back to the cart, because the additional discount might not be the best or most efficient way to get them to come back. So keep that in mind. But you definitely want to have those abandoned cart emails set up. Okay, so what is my next tip? Oh, I gotta move forward because I can't see. Okay, so next you want to enable reviews on your site. So let's say that you have let's say that you have an abundance of customers shop with you on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all this. So this is a little bit beyond Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You also want to be projecting ahead. So let's say that you have a ton of people that shop with you across Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, all that. You want to make sure that you have reviews enabled, because if you have a surplus of customers shopping with you, this is a great opportunity for them to leave a review, and that is called social proof. So the public is giving potential customers proof that they can rely on the reliability or credibility of your business. They're basically giving you credibility. So you definitely want to make sure that you have reviews enabled on your site, meaning review space for each individual product. But you also may want to make sure that you have an email sequence set up to reach out to people who've shopped with you during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that, to ask them to leave a review. And it's up to you to decide how far out you want to send that email, or maybe, and also you might want to offer them like a discount on a future purchase or something like that, that will entice them to leave a review. And being honest with you, some people might leave you some not so great reviews. That's a risk that you have to take, but also know that you can erase anybody's review. It's your website. You can do whatever you want. So even if a person left you a terrible review, you can erase it down the line. So keep that in mind. Don't get worked up about the thought of someone leaving you a terrible review, but also take every review seriously too, because that's feedback that you can use to improve down the line. So enable reviews, and hopefully, so let's say that you don't sell out of all your merchandise for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or maybe you bought a little bit more than you should have, or maybe you just have inventory left over. Hopefully you get those people to leave reviews, and as you're having new people come onto your site after Black Friday and Cyber Monday, they'll see those reviews, and those reviews will entice them to make a purchase. So enable those reviews, y'all. All right, so speaking of emails, you want to set up some email funnels. So like I said, during this time of year, most sites have an abundance of people on their websites. They have people adding to cart. They have people viewing certain items, making purchases, obviously. So you want to have some email funnels set up. So the great thing about email funnels is that you can automate them, and you can set them up to trigger when a person takes a specific action. So for an example, I use MailerLite for my emails, and they have an automation system, and I can set up triggers for various things. So I can say, if a person clicks this link in an email, I want them to be added to this group, and then once they're added to this group, they're going to receive this email, and then 5 days later they're going to receive this email, and if they click this link, and then this happens. You can create this system of all types of messages that you would like to be sent to different subsets of people based on the activities that they take with your emails, and also activities that they take on your website. So each email marketing platform is designed differently, but most of them do offer some type of automation system. Some of them you have to pay for, so keep that in mind. So if your email marketing system does allow you to create email funnels, I definitely recommend that you set some up. If you need some ideas for email funnels, I guarantee you there are tens of thousands of YouTube videos on email funnels. Google as well. So Yes. So set up some email funnels, and then just like email funnels, you also might consider setting up ad funnels. So me, myself, personally, I started actually this week upping my ad budget. So I'm spending a lot more this week, starting this week and into leading up to Black Friday on ads, because I get a great return on my ads. And also I'm not super consistent with posting on my social media itself, just because I have another business to run. So ads save my life on a weekly basis. So setting up ad funnels, very similar to setting up an email funnel, but also a lot more technical, I guess you could say. So can't really give you a lesson on Facebook and Instagram ads in this small frame of time. But basically, with Facebook and Instagram ads, when you set them up through the Facebook Ads Manager, first and foremost, if you don't already, you need to add a Facebook Pixel code to your back end of your website. This code is going to collect data for every single person that visits your website. And so as it's collecting that data, you can create what's called custom audiences on the Facebook Ads Manager platform. And these custom audiences can be created based on the activities that people take on your site. And then when you decide to run ads, you can run ads to specific subsets of people who take actions on your site. So just like, for instance, you set up a abandoned cart email sequence, you can set up an abandoned cart ad sequence. So you can say, I want everybody who added merchandise to their cart in the last whatever duration of days to see this ad, or I want people who made a purchase in the last 30 days to see this ad, or I want someone who viewed this particular item to see this ad. So set up some ad funnels. I'm definitely going to set up ad funnels. I'm probably going to set up an ad funnel for like all the really popular items on my website during the duration of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that. But long story short, set up some ad funnels. You need help with ad funnels? I have a course on ads, and it's on sale right now for $129. The regular price is $199. You can find the link to it in my bio. Yeah, ads save my life. I love me some ads. And then last but not least, a follow-up sequence. So I want you, for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but in general, please understand that just because a person makes a purchase and they give you your money, that does not mean that the relationship is over. No, the relationship is just starting. There is a saying that it is cheaper to retain a customer than to gain a new customer. So once you have gotten someone to trust you enough to give you their money, it's so much easier for you to convince them to give you their money a second time. So you want to make sure that you are strategizing on how you will maintain the relationships and the customers that you gain throughout Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Again, I can't tell you how to do that. That will look differently for every single person and for every single business. But it is really important that you cultivate those relationships, because your existing customers will truly be the bread and butter of your business. Going back to email marketing, as you are gaining new customers and they're making purchases, you definitely want to make sure that you are collecting emails, paying attention to the order values and things like that. Like I said, I use MailerLite, and I can subset customers based on the amount of money that they spent. So you can create groups of people who you consider to be high value customers, and maybe you communicate with them in a way that you don't communicate with the rest of your audience. On YouTube Live the other day, I talked about understanding that your customers aren't just a group. Those are still individuals. You don't have to communicate with them as a group every time you send an email. I like to use the example of my friend Ashley. You guys have probably heard me talk about her all the time. I know that Ashley's brand colors are yellow. Ashley has shopped with me on numerous occasions. Anytime I get something yellow, I contact Ashley and I let her know that I got something yellow. I post it on Facebook. I'll send her a DM of it before I have even photographed it, because I know that even if she doesn't make the purchase, just knowing that I have that relationship with her and that rapport, it makes us more comfortable with one another. And she's not the only person that I do that with. So understand that this is a great opportunity for you to start building some long-lasting, hopefully lifelong, or however long you run your business. This is a great opportunity for you to cultivate and build upon those relationships and gain some more money all the way down the line. So don't think that after Cyber Monday or Black Friday is over that you get to lay back and chill and it's all over and just everything is just great. No. Now it's time to do the work to make sure that you maintain those relationships, that those people come back to you, that you offer them something that makes them want to continue to shop with you for years and years and years and years and years to come. Okay? Yes. So, yeah. Okay. So, I hope you guys got something from that. So, like I said, this creating a strategy obviously is going to look differently for every single person. So, I am offering 50% off of my next 3 consultations. You guys have probably seen me post about it for the last 2 days or so. Links in my bio. This is part of my Black Friday promotions for the Boutique Academy. So I wanted to give my followers and my email list first dibs on that. So I have 3 more spots remaining for a coaching session. If anybody's interested, the link is in my bio. You use code EARLY and you get 50% off a coaching session, and you can set it up for as soon as you would like, and we can work together to create a strategy that's going to work for you and for your business, because that's going to look differently for every single person. Now, if you don't want a coaching session, on next Monday, I will be hosting a more formal webinar with like real life slides and real life tips and advice for planning and preparing for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The link to that is also in my bio. I believe it's once you click the bio, I think it's the first button at the top. So we'll be discussing a lot of what we just discussed here, but more in depth. So me actually showing you physical examples of what these things can look like, the funnels and the email sequences, and writing your product descriptions, and making sure your website looks and feels great. And the greatest part about tuning in live for the webinar is that you get to be there live, first and foremost, but also you can get your questions answered in real time, and you can ask questions that are, applicable to your business and get answers that are applicable to your own business. So hopefully you guys will join me. Again, if you need a one-on-one, very standardized session dedicated 100% to you, the link to book a strategy session is in my bio. Currently, it's 50% off for the next 3 people, and once that code has been used 3 times, the code will not be valid. So you can try to use it, but it ain't gonna work once those 3 have been used. So if you're interested, act quickly. If you have any questions, feel free to answer or ask. Let me figure out how to turn these slides off, and I'll see if anybody has any questions. I hope you guys learned something from that. I love doing these little like impromptu Instagram webinar type things. What do you do when your clothes are not selling as much as you're getting new items? Do you mean me personally, or what you should do? Me personally, I just have a firm understanding that that's just how retail works. Everything that I buy isn't going to be something that everyone loves. So I have tons of merchandise in my other room that has not sold. That's when strategic pricing and strategic promotions come into play. You have to be creative, get creative, and figure out great ways to get people excited about whatever it is that you've been holding on for quite some time. And also I set goals for every single thing in my business. So first and foremost, I set realistic goals. So again, like I said, I know realistically that I'm not going to sell out of every single thing in a day or a week or even a month sometimes. So I set very realistic goals, and I set goals for also what I want to do with the money that I make once I do meet those goals. So 9 times out of 10, my goal is to make a certain money so that I can use that money to reinvest in new merchandise. I always say that we live in the era of Fashion Nova, so the quicker you can get new merchandise in the door, the better, because Fashion Nova is flipping clothes like burgers at McDonald's. So You got to be quick in this industry. So I will do whatever it takes. I will strategically price, strategically promote whatever I need to in order to sell it, get it out the door so that I can get something new. I'm not doing Black Friday this year. My boutique is too new. I don't think there's a such thing as being too new. I think this is a great opportunity for you to get a firm feel on what it's like to promote strategically. Bosch Boutique, where is my charger? I had to charge my phone before I went live. You're welcome, guys. Hey, business bestie. Hi. Oh, I'm scrolling through, guys. Guilty. Can you please save the slide because I came in late? Yes, ma'am. I definitely will. Yes. Where will this be hosted on Monday? It's going to be hosted on a webinar platform, on Webinar Jam. How to market online when you don't have a following on Facebook or Instagram to begin with. By consistently posting and being strategic about your hashtags. Hashtags are really the only way to grow your following or your engagement on social media, or on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, Instagram, but also just word of mouth in general. So my boutique's Instagram started growing as I was posting on my personal social media, and also as I was participating in pop-up shops. Not the last pop-up shop I did, so 3 pop-up shops ago, I had 3 different people helping me at my table, and one person specifically had the role of asking people to follow me on Instagram, whether they were purchasing or not. If they showed any interest in my brand, she asked them to follow us on Instagram. She was literally telling people, hey, pull out your phone and follow us on Instagram. So it's a lot of word of mouth, but also consistently posting and making sure you're posting something of quality, something of value to your target audience, making sure that your captions read in a way that would captivate them, and making sure that the actual content itself that you post is appealing. I'm excited to talk to you too tomorrow. I have like 3 calls tomorrow and they're back to back. I want to cry. I need to start putting like an hour block in between every call because I be killing myself. I run my apparel line through my personal website. Should I separate it? I would say it depends on what the topic of your personal website is, and also the amount of inventory you have on your personal website. What type of apparel is it? Is it just like wholesale apparel, or is it like custom design apparel? How much of your profit do you save and reinvest? All of it. I have multiple streams of income, so all of the money I make in my boutique, I reinvest into my business. Is GoDaddy a good platform to sell on, or what's the down part about it? I have a GoDaddy, but I hear everyone talking about other platforms. I don't know. I've never used GoDaddy for a website. I only used GoDaddy to buy my domain name. Hey, how do I sign up for the webinar? The link is in my bio to sign up for the webinar. Waiting on my hashtags. OMG, hold on. Let me write that down so I can send them to you. Send hashtags. I got you, girl. I was looking at her hashtags today and I was like, I need to send them, and I forgot. My following on IG has stayed the same for months. Why is that? Have you changed up the way that you post, or the type of content that you post, or the captions that you post, or anything of that nature? What are good hashtags to use? I wouldn't say there's a such thing as good hashtags to use. There's a lot more that goes into posting than the hashtags themselves. So you have to consider when you're posting, what your post says, and what the actual post looks like. So even if you used a so-called good hashtag, a person could just scroll past it as they're searching that hashtag if the picture itself isn't appealing. So I wouldn't say that there is a such thing as a good hashtag. It's more about the quality of the post itself would have to appeal to a person in order for them to want to click on it and engage. Following is slowly growing and my merchandise is not moving. Should I purchase new inventory for Black Friday or run a great deal on the old inventory? I would say if you don't have a budget for new inventory, I would run a promotion on the old inventory. I wouldn't spend money on new merchandise if I don't have a firm hold on how to sell the inventory I already have. Some people, I feel like there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, it's just the inventory that's not selling. Sometimes it's not the inventory. Sometimes the inventory is amazing. A lot of times it's just us. And I can say that for myself. Like, I know that a lot of times I'm not consistent with my posting and things of that nature, and the merchandise isn't going to sell itself. So I've had to play around with my own efforts and the activities that I put into my business. Like, for instance, last week was my boutique's anniversary and I ran a sale every single day for an entire week. And I sent out an email every day last week except for one day, which I completely forgot. But because I was very consistent in my efforts, I posted multiple times a day. I sent out emails, all that. I saw the results, and I had my biggest sales in 1 week that I've ever had. So sometimes it really is just, I sold merchandise last week that I've had for I don't even know how long, and it was just really a matter of me working really hard to market and sell it. So yeah. So about Boutique 2020, when will we be putting out the details? So I was supposed to build the web page today. So once I get off here, I'm going to work on building the page. And then once I have the page up, then everybody will be able to RSVP, and then they'll get the notification for the deposit to be paid. So I just got to finish building the page. How to find a pop-up to participate in. I found pop-ups on Facebook and Eventbrite. Those are the two that I use. I live in St. Louis, so there are a multitude of Facebook groups on Facebook that are literally dedicated to vendor events. Like, people just post vendor opportunities and people sign up for it. I'm print on demand, so I don't have inventory. That's great. Yes, that's great. But I don't have huge margins. What kind of sale would you recommend? I'm thinking spend an amount, get 20% off. That could work. But also, if you don't have, if you're print on demand and you don't necessarily have inventory, you could also just increase your margin. I want to say, I feel like if you already have an existing audience of people who have maybe been waiting to purchase your merchandise, that a promotion like spend a certain amount and get a percentage off would work well. But if you don't have an existing audience, then I feel like that promotion might not work as well for you. How do you stay posting when you don't have new stock but already posted the old ones? You find creative ways to repost the same things. So I have an entire course on content creation, and it teaches how to repost or create content and reuse photos or images of products that you already have. Because that's one of the biggest struggles. I hear a lot of people say they don't know what to post, or they feel like they're posting the same thing over again. So really, it's just a matter of getting creative on how to repost the same thing another time, and also getting creative in your captions and things of that nature. And also, a lot of times it comes down to people not taking enough photos of their merchandise. Like I was speaking of earlier, some people just take one picture, or they only like one of the pictures of the bajillion that they took, and they only keep one, or they only edit one, and that leaves them with just one image to post. So when I take photos, literally, if you looked at my phone, I have a multitude of photos, which gives me a multitude of different angles of the same merchandise to post over and over again. So you got to get creative. How do you change the landing page or website? I use Shopify. I change it as often as I am running promotion. I change it when I get new arrivals in. I change it when I am offering a discount that is open to the general public. So I change it often. Like for instance, last week with my anniversary sale, I changed it every day. I changed the banner at the top to reflect what my sale was that day. And then when I got new arrivals in, I changed it to reflect the current new arrivals in the store or on the site. So change it as often as possible. That's also another thing that doesn't resonate well with people. So for instance, if a person logs onto your website and the only thing that they see is the top bar that has your menu, and then the next box is your header, and that header looks the same every single time they log on. For whatever reason, humans have really short attention span, and they want to get straight to the point. So if you lead them to a page where it looks exactly the same as the last time that they were there, they're likely to just click off of it. So I change mine as often as I can to keep it looking fresh and make them want to keep scrolling or keep looking. I've recommended to some people, instead of putting the link to their homepage in their bio, to put a link to a specific product or a specific page on your website. So like right now in my bio, if they click the link, it's going to take them to my new arrivals page. It's not going to take them to my homepage. I know that my goal is to get them to shop. I don't need them to look at my cute homepage, even though I think it's amazing. There's nothing shoppable per se on their on the home page. So why am I going to send them there? I'm going to send them straight to the page where they can start adding stuff to their cart, and we can complete the transaction and go about our day. So that's one of the tips that I tend to provide to people on my coaching calls. Thanks, girl. When's our next call? Sweet B. You got 2 more. My husband says he's drinking. He's drinking without me. So my husband bought a heat press. I think, is that what it's called? A heat press? I don't know. It's one of them things you use to make t-shirts and stuff. He bought one of those. I told him that he should, because we could start a whole nother business. So, yeah. But yeah. In regards to pictures, some of my items don't fit and don't have a budget for a model. Do you recommend stock photos? I would say yes. If you don't have the budget for a model and you can't fit your own clothing, I would definitely say use a stock photo. You can also use mannequin. I don't necessarily recommend flat lays. I recommend flat lays for just like your social media and just when you want to have a cutesy post. Not necessarily for the purposes of selling the merchandise on your website. I also bought ads, so I have 3 more. Oh, look at you. Yes, you do have 3. Girl, look at you. Have you started on the ads course yet? I think I had 4 people enroll in the ads course yesterday, which means that 4 people are going to set up a coaching call with me very soon. If you guys didn't know, my ads course comes with a complimentary 60-minute call. So the ads course is on sale for $129, and the price of a coaching call at regular price is $197. So that's a deal if anybody is interested. I was just looking at my calendar, seeing when I can schedule it. I got you, girl. Well, I'll be waiting. I have nothing better to do with my life. How do I get all the photos of the same size? You resize them. So I use Photoshop to resize my images, but if you go into, so as you are uploading your photos on Shopify, on your product pages, if you click the 3 little buttons in the corner of each image, there should be a button that says edit, I believe, and it should open a screen for you to resize your images. Not yet. This weekend is my main focus, but I didn't update my website based off the last coaching session. I've gotten great feedback. That's awesome. Oh, you did update it. Awesome. Yay. I'm gonna have to go look at it. That's sweet. Let me write that down too so I can go look. after I get off. That's awesome. I love hearing people make progress and use my advice. Makes my heart smile. Can I use your ads course for my hair care line? I don't own a boutique, but I've been following you for a while and love your tips. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so my ads course, I wouldn't say it's dedicated to boutiques. I just obviously speak of boutiques because that's who the majority of my audience is. But as far as the course itself, it just really talks about selling products and how to sell products through using ads. So, yeah, I would say you could use it definitely for your hair care line. The course basically walks you through the process of creating an ad as a beginner. And then, so it starts with me showing you just in general how to create an ad, how to build an ad using Facebook Ads Manager. And then I walk you through individually in individual lessons, various aspects to understanding ads. So creating custom audiences, lookalike audiences, retargeting, things of that nature. Creating a sales funnel is included in there, all that. So definitely laugh out loud. Yes. So again, guys, sign up for the webinar on Monday. So I'm doing a webinar on Tuesday too. What's the webinar on Tuesday about? I'm just webinaring y'all out for the rest of November. November is just, we gonna straight learn all November. What is the webinar about on Tuesday? The webinar on Tuesday, so the webinar on Tuesday is about 10 things that boutique owners struggle with. So we're gonna dive into those 10 things and talk about how to combat those. So if you're on my email list, I sent an email out about the 10 things that boutique owners struggle with, and it also includes the link for the webinar for Tuesday. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Well, if you're interested in that and got the email, sign up in the email. If you're not on my email list and you would like to sign up, send me a DM. Your English is so easy to understand. Oh, thanks. I majored in speech communication in college, so I kind of had to learn how to talk. Thank you. All right, guys, so Instagram is about to kick me off. I'm going to save this live if anybody wanted to watch it. And anybody that's catching the replay, let me know what you thought. And if you have any questions, feel free to send them to my DMs. All right. Bye, guys.